Hello, gang. It's me, Dawg Knight. It's Monday, which means, as you can tell, I'm a little late, as often I will be on Mondays. Just can't help it. That's going to be a quirk of Mondays for at least the rest of this year until they figure it out how to get us out of there earlier on Mondays at my job. So, I'm here. Yay. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Alrighty then, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, me, Marty, also known as PDawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the PDawg Knight Channel on this lovely Monday, the 31st of August, 2020, moving day for my daughter. And actually, they've been working on stuff all weekend, and we've got all the stuff at our house right now in a trailer, and then we're going to take it to where they're moving because they had to be out yesterday, but can't move in until technically tomorrow, but we're going to drive some stuff up there tonight. Anyway, it's getting really weird out there. Off the heels of the young man defending himself in Kenosha, we get a new, only one word for it, murder. I don't know if you can use that word on YouTube, but I just did, in Portland. And there's a lot of blame flying around. But well, not just blame, but just straight up classic gaslighting. It's almost embarrassing watching the media and the Democrats, I know that's redundant, fall over themselves to try to change the story from there not being violence, which has been going on for 3 months now, to all of a sudden, Donald Trump needs to address the violence. I'm sorry. Donald Trump has been addressing the violence. Donald Trump and I look at this is, I'm not the, I'm getting, I was getting to the point where I was getting tired of defending Donald Trump, but now I'm just going to do it because they're lying. I don't see any other way to look at it. Saying that Donald Trump needs to address the violence. Donald Trump's been trying to address the violence. He's been offering aid to mayors. He's been doing all kinds of things. In fact, one of the mayors took him up on the offer. That would be Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. Now, it was a little quiet deal, but they've got federal agents going there. What's Ted Wheeler's issue in Portland? What's the Kenosha? Well, Kenosha actually has calmed down because they have been bringing the reserves. Now, the governor did that, and Trump says he's going to visit there. But it's insane what's going on in our country. And is this going to turn into, I don't know. Is it going to turn into just people shooting each other in the street everywhere now? Or are these going to be the incidents that get some of these mayors to get off their asses? That gets some of the politicians to either shut the fuck up or say something that says, "Hey, this is unacceptable," no matter what side you're on. But you know what? I think the Democrats are just trying to figure out how this will work politically. You know, when Don Lemon the other day said something about, "Oh, this is starting to hurt us in the polls," I think Democrats are starting to figure that out. That would be worst journalist of the year, Don Lemon, political strategist for the Democrats, worst journalist of the year. It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Anyway, let's say good morning to everybody. I know it's going to be a short show today, so I better get the hellos in. Good morning, Aloysius Fuddpucker, who gets the bell because he was first. Also, good morning, Sydney Rochelle, Advocatus Diaboli, Chi-Town J, Renee Mayette, hey Larry, Black Hebrew Israelite,
That's right.
Check Your Logic, who's here early, right on. DI Freighter Watcher, John Connor. Zombie Teddy's in the house. Tyler F. CNN Sucks, the most redundant name on the internet. Cynical Lindsay. Maddie from the House of Geek. All right, my news babe. And let's see. Oh, Ebony Williams. Hi. Nice to see you here again. And Prospero. Oh, I am honored. Hello, my friend. Also, let's see. That's it. Holy moly. That's it in the chat. Unless I missed somebody. Or if you're not in the chat, that's cool. If you're just here lurking or whatever you do out there, lurk away. I'm cool with that. You know, if you pop in, I'll see you again, I'm sure. Oh, the gayest person of you two is here. Is it just me? Or is P's gain a bit high? Oh, you know what? I forgot. I had this on because yes, it is high. That should be better now. All right, and Ronan's here too. Cool. All right, so, all right, let's just get into it. You know, let's see. Today, I didn't get a chance to go over some of the articles I pulled out either. Good morning, Midnight in Exile. How you doing? YouTube. No, it's me. I had my gain up way too high. Is that better? Let me know if that's better. I had the gain way up for another reason. I was using the microphone very far from my mouth the other day because I was recording some stuff. So hopefully this will be better. All right, let's go with Well, first of all, here's the interesting thing that a couple kind of noteworthy things that are weird that are coming up. So the organization Black Lives Matter, not the not the concept Black Lives Matter, but the organization itself may be causing problems for people who donate to it. Now, I can kind of explain to you why here in a second. As soon as I fix that. Okay. This was an interesting article from the American Thinker. Is Black Lives Matter putting its fiscal sponsors' tax exemptions at risk? This is from someone named Civis Americanus, who reported previously that Black Lives Matter Global Networks was campaigning openly against Donald Trump on its website, and also in a CNN appearance by BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors, while accepting 501(c)(3) tax-exempt resources from financial sponsors. What? That's doing that. Okay. While accepting 501(c)(3) tax-exempt resources from fiscal sponsor Thousand Currents. BLM also has a donation page that goes through Act Blue's charities, which also is a 501(c)(3) tax-exempt. Thousand Currents recently handed off BLM's fiscal sponsorship to the Tides Foundation. Now, Ely Reynolds, BLM's co-founder, appears to violate IRS laws on CNN at The Federalist, is an article. The Black Lives Matter Global Network and the IRS did not return requests for comments. No surprise that the Internal Revenue Service did not respond because, as stated in the instructions for Form 13909, Tax-Exempt Organization Complaint Referral, federal law prohibits the IRS from providing you with the status updates or information about specific actions taken as a response to the information you submit, blah, blah, blah. More to the point, however, is BLM's apparent failure to modify its behavior after Reynolds brought this issue to its attention. On or about August 20th, more than 7 weeks later, Cullors appeared on another video, as was reported by the Washington Post. Patrisse Cullors, quote, "We can cheer Biden and Harris, but still must challenge their problematic past." Cullors does make remarks critical of the Democratic nominees, but focuses explicitly on working to defeat President Trump, saying, "I think we can call for Biden and Harris to be challenged for their past while also being cheerleaders for them to win the election November 3rd. There are so many reasons why we must beat Trump. Our work to defeat Trump also helps us defeat the white supremacist he has galvanized." When I last heard, by the way, white nationalist Richard Spencer endorsed Joe Biden, who, to his credit, rejected the endorsement. Anyway, So anyway, they could be causing problems for people who donate to them because the organization Black Lives Matter is clearly campaigning for a specific presidential candidate. just an interesting development. I'm going to put the rest of this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll put the rest of the article in the chat. I thought it was a fascinating article if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Good morning, Aaron Meredith. I said good morning to Gen T, but I'm going to say hi to Gen T again. Nice to have you back. Okay. So anyway, I found that quite interesting. Also, interesting. You know how they say, well, you know, somebody the other day, I couldn't believe this. I laughed when I heard it. And it was somebody, who was it on TV that said this? Oh, Beto O'Rourke, who was saying, mail-in balloting is the safest, most secure way to vote in the United States today. Oh, Beto O'Rourke. Anyway, this is interesting, though, because there's a Democratic operative who has revealed how he fixed mail-in ballots over decades. A man described by the New York Post as a top Democratic operative and a Bernie Sanders supporter told the newspapers he's been submitting thousands of fraudulent mail-in ballots over the last several decades. The anonymous operative was checked out by the Post and is a real person who has worked on many campaigns in the Northeast. Excuse me. It is not possible. It's not possible that this Democratic operative is simply trolling his political opponents and may be a real operative, but is trying to make the point about the gullibility of the opposition. But Hans von Spakowski, a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation who manages the foundation's election law reform initiative, says there's nothing new about these techniques. Everything he's talking about is perfectly possible. The man requested anonymity out of fear of being prosecuted. And this is a quote. His dirty work has taken him through the weeds of municipal and federal elections in Patterson, Atlantic City, Camden, Newark, Hoboken, and Hudson County, all in New Jersey. And his fingerprints can be found in local legislative, mayoral, and congressional races across the Garden States. Some of the biggest names and highest office holders in New Jersey have benefited from his tricks, according to campaign records the Post reviewed. An election that is swayed by 500 votes, 1,000 votes, it can make a difference, the tipster said. It could be enough to flip states. Despite assurances from the Democrats and election experts, it's apparently ridiculously easy to submit hundreds, perhaps thousands of fraudulent ballots. I can't imagine. It starts with getting a blank ballot, which I wonder how hard that is. I wonder how hard it is to just get a whole bunch of blank ballots. You know, I'm just wondering. Anyway, the ballot has no specific security features like a stamp or a watermark, so the insider said he would just make his own ballots. I just put the ballot through the copy machine and it comes out the same way, the insider said. Election security officials will say the ballot isn't enough. There are safeguards on the return envelope that can't be duplicated. Oh, really? But the return envelopes are more secure than the ballot. You could never recreate the envelope, he said, so they had to be collected from real voters. He would have his operatives fan out, going house to house, convincing voters to let them mail completed ballots on their behalf as a public service. The fraudster and his minions would then take the sealed envelopes home, hold them over boiling water. You have to steam it to loosen the glue, said the insider. Then he would remove the real ballot, place the counterfeit ballot inside the signed certificate, and reseal the envelope. But go ahead and listen to Democrats who tell you how secure your ballot is. Yeah, I wonder how widespread this. I know they already know in New Jersey they had to redo entire elections because of the need to reject some mail-in ballots. So I thought that's fascinating. Let's see what else we got here. Moving on. Hello, Sector Boy.
Yeah, boy.
And Chicago Mike, what's up? How you doing? All right. I'm going to skip that. I don't know if you heard about the In Defense of Looting lady. I'm sure you've heard of it. This author wrote a whole piece on In Defense of Looting. Yeah, I can't do it. Hello, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Katie did skate. What's happening? All right. Let's see. So, as you know, Donald Trump is going to visit Kenosha, Wisconsin. Or maybe you know that, maybe you don't. What the hell did I just do there? Let me try this again. There we go. Loot tab. There we go. The president has decided that he's going to visit Kenosha. But Democrats warned Trump not to visit Kenosha. Notice that I can say Kenosha. If you follow Ranting Monkey, you notice he can't say it. Well, I'm sure he can by now, but he doesn't. You can't mess up Midwest city names when you live out here. Anyway, Democrats are warning Donald Trump against his plan to visit Kenosha, Wisconsin. On Tuesday, the city has been roiled by violence and protests since a police officer shot a man wanted for sexual assault several times in the back in front of his children. Democrats say Trump would only make things worse, well, because Orange Man bad. Now, remember, the highly exalted, what the dude's name that died? Jacob, anyway, whatever his name is, his mother was not so down on Trump, because Trump tried to call her and she missed the call and she was very apologetic, and apparently some family member said some bad shit about Trump who had nothing to do with the incident in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And so she was very gracious and appreciated the fact that the president tried to reach out to her. And part of the plan for Trump on visiting Kenosha is to meet with the family. And, you know, and he's actually, if you ever see him in settings where it's kind of just a listening session, sometimes they'll have video on the internet, and he'll have these listening sessions at the White House where, you know, people that are coming in to ask him questions or talk to him, he likes to listen to people, you know, listen to people's stories. And so, and he seems to be very good at it. And people who leave those meetings almost unanimously say, except for Nancy Pelosi, of course, almost unanimously say that, you know, they appreciate that Trump listens and wants to hear what they have to say and will let them speak until they're done. And so, you know, I'm thinking that that's not a bad thing, although I'm sure there'll be protests in Kenosha because Kenosha's proximity to Chicago. Remember when he tried to campaign in Chicago a few years ago and they shut that down? Well, there's people on the internet saying, well, they should try to do that again. Anyway, from Reuters, they centered an entire convention around creating this is somebody describing a convention that didn't really seem to happen in my mind. But here it is. They centered an entire convention around creating more animosity and creating more division around what's going on in Kenosha. Wisconsin Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes told CNN, referring to last week's Republican National Convention. Really? Really? Because I didn't, you know, if I'd have been just watching what was going on in Kenosha, I didn't see any, clearly Kenosha has no animosity or division in it, right? God. So I don't know how, given any of the previous statements that the president made that he intends to come here to be helpful, and we absolutely don't need that right now. What if he comes there and tries to be, you know, presidential? What if he comes there? Because people are saying, oh, he needs to do something, but then when he does something, they're like, no, don't do that. Hello, Purple Pill's Perspective. I'm glad you're here. Oh yeah, no, I'm late on Mondays. If you're here and you don't always know, on Mondays there will be days that I'm going to be late. It's just work related. Pretty much on Mondays. There's occasionally other days, but pretty much on Mondays is the day that I have a hard time getting here in time for the show. I try it, but it doesn't always work. So that's why I was late today. The president has made statements at odds with the Democratic talking points about the violence, burning, looting, and destruction. Doesn't he know he should sit down, shut up, and give rioters what they want? Instead, Trump thinks that the people of Kenosha could use someone on their side for a change, so he will pay a visit. But critics accuse Trump, who faces Democratic former Vice President Joe Biden in the November 3rd U.S. presidential election, of seeking to exacerbate violence with incendiary rhetoric. Okay. This amazes me how deranged some of the anti-Trump people are. So, listen to this sentence. I'm going to say this sentence again. Critics accuse Trump, who faces Democratic former Vice President Joe Biden in the November 3rd U.S. presidential election, of seeking to exacerbate violence with incendiary rhetoric. Why would the President of the United States seek to exacerbate violence with incendiary rhetoric? Why do you think that is the purpose? Now, he is probably going to go there, meet with some families, perhaps the family of the chosen one, who I feel bad for the guy. He's paralyzed, but you know what? He kind of brought that on himself. Yeah, guess what? Had he just allowed the police to arrest him on that warrant that he had outstanding and went to court, he wouldn't be paralyzed right now. Not that he deserves to be shot, not that he deserves to be paralyzed, but if he's reaching in a car when you got police following you after you just fought the police and you go around your car and you tell them you're going to kill him, and then you open your car door and you reach in your car, there's a good chance you're going to get shot. I don't care what your race is. At all. At all. That wasn't about race. I mean, remember, they tried to restrain him. They used non-lethal force. They did everything they could. But I want to know why the president would be seeking to exacerbate violence with incendiary rhetoric. That's just stupid. No, he's probably going there to try to talk to the family, which they've already tried to call him once. So they know, family already knows that he has tried to, what he called the guy's parents. Probably just to say, hey, I know this is going to be a tough time for you. Trump's pretty good at speaking with people one-on-one, empathy, listening type things, right? Why would you try to exacerbate? Now, might it exacerbate violence because the asshole's there to protest him? That is a possibility. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. That's a possibility. But that's, oh my God. Unreal. That sentence is crazy. Anyway, Republicans deny this, saying Trump wants to restore law and order. When standing up for the law and against anarchy becomes incendiary, we're in trouble. Yeah, how about that? I'm pretty sure the people of Kenosha, it's interesting because a lot of people in Kenosha or who are from Kenosha are saying, yeah, a lot of this was some outside peoples coming in here and burning up our shit because, hey, we need our shit. We don't, God. And again, the proximity to Chicago, Milwaukee, I'm sure there are a few out-of-towners going up in the Kenosha going, hey, let's burn this shit down. Even more amazing is that Democrats continue to blame Trump for the violence. U.S. Representative Karen Bass, who chairs the Congressional Black Caucus, predicted Trump's Kenosha visit would only make things worse. Now, listen to what she says. His visit has one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to agitate things, the Democrat told CNN's State of the Union program. We're 66 days from an election, and I think it's a tragedy that we have a president that is doing everything he can to fan the flames. Well, sorry if I'm blowing your ears out here because I'm just getting a little excited. I'm going to get a new mic set up here soon, I promise. As if the flames aren't already raging. Absolutely astonishing. But their strategy may be backfiring. Giving a pass to violent rioters while accusing Trump of feeding the violence is causing many ordinary Americans to scratch their heads in puzzlement by refusing to unequivocally condemn the rioting and stand up for the law and the people who enforce it. Democrats are bleeding support, not just in Wisconsin, but across the country. Any governor, Republican or Democrat, can request help from federal government. We are willing to come in. We are willing to provide additional assets, as we did in Kenosha, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told NBC's Meet the Press program. All options continue to be on the table. To resolve the Portland protest, including sending in federal law enforcement assistant, the acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf told ABC's This Week on Sunday. And here's the thing. This is a good point, the way they finish it. The day that the President of the United States can't visit an American city because the political opposition is telling him not to is the day that will signal the end of America. Joe Biden has gone everywhere. What? Joe Biden has gone everywhere. There's been violence, mostly to grovel before the mob and show us that he cares. If Donald Trump wants to go to Kenosha and stand with the forces of the law and order, showing them that he cares about citizen safety, Democrats would be well advised to sit down and shut the fuck up. Okay, that's not what they said, but I that's the way I'm going to finish that. Oh, good Lord, people. It's amazing to me. It's amazing. Who says that? Is that... It's amazing. Somebody, you know who I'm talking about. And as you know, over the weekend, Greenfield calls it Democrat violence. I don't know if I'd call it Democrat violence. These people are anarchists. They have the guillotine out for the Democrats as much as they do for the Republicans if they're not the right Democrats. But anyway. Mayor Ted Wheeler recently told Oregon Public Radio that his only strategy for dealing with the violence in Portland is to let it burn itself out. The admission came after he falsely claimed that federal law enforcement's presence was leading to more violence, only to see the leftist violence continue to grow after the pullout deal. On August 28th, Mayor Wheeler tweeted a letter that he wrote to President Trump, turning down his offer of federal law enforcement aid while insisting that there's no place for looting, arson, and vandalism in the city. I'm sorry, I gotta go to Twitter on this one. I had a little fun with Mayor Wheeler this weekend, and this is a beautiful example of how Mayor Ted Wheeler, what's a good word for this? He's a feckless prick. Let me find this because this is beautiful. This is beautiful. So, Ted Wheeler writes this letter to President Donald Trump. Okay? It says, Dear President Trump, yet again, you said you offered to aid Portland by sending in federal law enforcement to our city. On behalf of the city of Portland, no thanks. We don't need your politics of division and demagoguery. Now, let's just stop right there. Is offering to help Portland by sending in federal law enforcement the politics of division and demagoguery? I don't think so. Anyway, he continues. Portlanders are on to you. We have already seen your reckless disregard for human life and your bumbling response to the COVID pandemic. Well, Ted, you got people dying in Portland and shit burning in Portland. You might want to worry about Portland. Anyway, and we know you've reached the conclusion that images of violence or vandalism are your only ticket to re-election. Ted Wheeler. Let me just say that if images of violence or vandalism are Donald Trump's only ticket to re-election, then you, sir, are doing your damnedest to get Donald Trump reelected. Just saying, holy shit, man, you have zero self-awareness. But he continues, there is no place for looting, arson, or vandalism in our city. Oh, but for the last 90 days, we've been seeing a hell of a lot of that. Hi, hello, Chatter Dupree. Hello, Kessler. Hello, Straight Sith Male. And I think that's everybody. Dawg, what's up? Oh, that's all right. That's going pretty early. I didn't even have any shill today. He continues. Tens of thousands of Portlanders have peacefully protested and marched for the noble cause of fixing our broken criminal justice system. They are part of the proud progressive tradition of Portlanders fighting for justice. From racial justice to economic justice to environmental justice. When you sent the feds to Portland last month, you made the situation far worse. Ted, far worse than what? Than when they were rioting before the feds got involved with protecting those buildings? Or far worse than the riots after the feds backed off a little bit from protecting those buildings? Because guess what? For 100 days almost, it's almost 100 days now, your police department has declared a riot nearly every night. Anyway, he continues, your offer to repeat that disaster is a cynical attempt. Again, they are projecting a cynical attempt to stoke fear and distract us from the real work of our city. Oh, the work that you're failing at miserably? He continues. In Portland, we are focused on coming together as a community to solve the serious challenges we face due to systemic racism, a global pandemic, and an economic recession. Stay away, please. Signed, Ted Wheeler, Mayor of Portland. Now, if he didn't sound like a petulant little biatch, I don't know what. But part 2 of this story is right here. He tweets, thank you, Portlanders, for a powerful display of solidarity at last night's demonstrations. Racial justice requires the entire community to come together. Let's continue to focus on the work ahead and move forward with reform, recovery, and resilience plans for PDX, which is the airport. I have no idea what the fuck he was talking about here. They're still... It was declared a riot again the next night, but this story continues because this is the night... The day after he does this, guess what happens in Portland? Breaking, activists occupy Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler's apartment and aren't leaving until he resigns, abolishes the police by 2022 with no tech or private replacement, and a lot saved resources for the Black and Indigenous people of color, BIPOC communities, and city service. Hashtag tear gas Ted. Hashtag abolish PPB. Hashtag Wheeler resign. So, after all that virtue signaling, they are occupying the lobby of his condo. So all the people living in that condo are just pissed off that these assholes are out there, and they had a rock concert out in the street, and they're doing all their drum shit and blocking the fucking road, and oh my god. But wait, that's not the end of the story, because the best part of the story after this occupation of Ted Wheeler's apartment. Here's part 4. Dear Mayor Wheeler, thank you for your letter rejecting my offer to send federal law enforcement to your city. You're welcome at Mar-a-Lago while the peaceful protesters occupy your condo. Sincerely, President Donald J. Trump. Oh my God. I am critical of the president and his Twitter and everything else, but that is the greatest troll ever. Oh my gosh. You're welcome at Mar-a-Lago while the peaceful protesters occupy your condos. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump. Oh my God. That was the greatest thing ever. Okay, I don't even need to read the rest of this article. Oh wait, no. Here's the thing. This is. Jesus Christ, that is awesome. So anyway, apparently, so this is not good though. Let's see. Here we go. We'll read the rest of this article. So after pro-Trump activists, here we go. Oh God, he had this stupid press conference too. So he said there's several days earlier, Wheeler had let slip his now infamous burn itself out line while suggesting that the so-called nonviolent protests won't end for quite some time. Yeah, he said that. Anyway, after a pro-Trump activist was shot by one of the leftist rioters whom Mayor Wheeler had enabled, the Democratic boss began his comments on the shooting by denouncing President Trump and his supporters who had traveled in a caravan flying Trump 20 things. So what? He basically just told them their dress was too short. It's you who have created the hate and division, Mayor Wheeler ranted, and now you want me to stop the violence you helped create? What America needs is for you to be stopped. Well, it's funny because the violence that he helped create, what, by running for president? Because remember when he was running for president and all these people were, when all the asshats were attacking Trump supporters and Trump rallies and shit like that. This isn't new. This is not something that started with Trump. Back in 2015, 2016, before Trump even said he was going to run for president, you got people attacking people who are on college campuses and, rallies in the streets. God, I hate these people. By the way, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please share the stream. Hit the like button. Throw your super chats through the Streamlabs link in the description down below. And if you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section. Hello, Amy in Connecticut, and Zombie Teddy. The mask had come off. Not that the Democrats had ever worn it too tightly on their faces. On Wheeler's watch, there have been 93 straight days of riots and mob scenes in Portland. The former city of Roses has become the scene of constant violence directly related and unrelated to the riots. Almost every month in Portland this year has seen more shootings than in 2019. By July, the shootings had doubled and reached its highest numbers of murders in 3 decades. And that's Trump's fault? How? How, Sway? How? When pro-Trump and leftist thugs clashed in the streets, Portland cops often just stood by. On August 29th, the day after Wheeler's letter rejecting federal law enforcement, a caravan of Trump supporters gathered in Clackamas County. A few days earlier, Clackamas had been the scene of a violent attack on a volunteer collecting signatures to recall the Democratic governor. The attacker had declared that he wanted President Trump removed from office and left his victim with a broken rib and broken nose. The rally of as many as 1,000 Trump supporters went forward in Clackamas with no major incidents before the cars of flying before hundreds of cars flying Trump and Blue Lives Matters banners headed to downtown Portland. Leftist thugs had gathered to intercept the caravan at key points in its route, leading to a series of escalating confrontations, but none of them significantly stopped or slowed the caravan. As the caravan drew closer to the Multnomah County Justice Center in Portland, which has been the scene of repeated riots, arsons, and violent attacks, the Trump 2020 caravan was blocked by Black Lives Matter and Antifa, who hurled objects at the vehicles and tried to physically prevent the trucks from moving forward. The caravan had reached one of the Portland's no-go zones, only blocks away from where a Black Lives Matter rally was getting underway. Just as in the previous 90-plus days, Mayor Wheeler and the Democrats had allowed leftist mobs to rule the streets, at this time, their complicity did just lead to violence, but murder. A member of the pro-Trump convoy associated with Patriot Prayer, who has been named by some sources, including Andy Ngo of the Post-Millennial, as Aaron Danielson, was shot and killed. No reported hearing. We got a Trumper right here before the shots were fired. Early confused reports led the mob at the Justice Center to assume that one of their own had been killed, but the initial outrage gave way to celebrations once it realized who'd been shot. The energy here is joyous now. Dancing, chanting, and an American flag burns, a leftist videographer with Black Lives Matter tweeted. Mobs of rioters were reportedly so jubilant that it decided to forego the actual rioting. Well, that's special. Multnomah County Chair Deborah Cochran responded to the shooting by claiming that it had been stoked by a president who has gone out of his way to demonize this city and encourage vigilantism, and falsely claimed that the pro-Trump caravan had terrorized downtown Portland. Instead of condemning the murder, the Democrat complained that the tragedy would be used to paint the entire movement with a broad, misleading brush. Really? After 93 days of your bullshit, or their bullshit, I guess. And it wasn't just Portland. On Sunday, a pro-Trump caravan was cruising down Ventura Boulevard in Los Angeles when it came under fire from an apartment building. After some men in the building began throwing beer bottles at the caravan, a woman who was not with the caravan but was driving past it heard a gunshot and noticed that her tire had gone flat. While the caravan continued onward, most of its members unaware of anything had happened, a SWAT team converged on the building in Woodland Hills, where one of the men had allegedly been spotted with a gun. Like Wheeler and Brown, local and national Democrats have tried to blame President Trump. What does President Trump think will happen when he continues to insist on fanning the flames of hate and division in our society? Joe Biden clamored in a statement billed as condemning the violence. Joe Biden finally has acknowledged that there is violence. And it's funny with his statement because there's something like, I condemn the violence and I insist or something that Donald Trump join me in condemning the violence, as if the president hasn't been talking about the violence since the exalted one died of complications due to certain substances in his body and possibly a knee on his neck, but more likely the substances in his body and his completely liquid-filled lungs. Anyway, Biden's own campaign had funded bail for the rioters. Yeah, Kamala Harris was encouraging the I don't even remember what the fund's called, but encouraging the bail fund. Way to go. It's a little too late for the Democratic nominee to disavow the violence he funded and tried to blame the whole thing on President Trump. The coordinated messaging by local and national Democrats shows that they're responding to Don Lemon. No, that's not what it says. Responding to negative polls by trying to shift the blame for the violence of their own radicals to President Trump rather than actually condemning and trying to stop the violence of their supporters. Yeah. Like Mayor Wheeler, Democrats had months in which they could have disavowed and forcefully ended the violence. They refused to do it until the polls turned against the riots. Yeah, they apparently they have some internal polling that tells them that this don't look good for them. Okay, enough of that. Let's see here. I was going to talk about what's the kid's name? Kyle, whatever his name is, but I'm going to pass. Here's my. Oh, here though. Here's the thing. Here's the part of. Hang on a second. All right. Attorneys for. Well, Kyle's did nothing wrong. Attorneys for teen Kenosha shooter says he acted in self-defense. So this is the Daily Caller version. Attorneys for Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old charged with killing 2 people and wounding another in a riot on Tuesday, said the teenager did nothing wrong and only pulled the trigger to defend himself from harm. Kyle did nothing wrong. He exercised his God-given constitutional common law and statutory right to self-defense. Pierce Bainbridge, the law firm representing Rittenhouse, said in a press release Friday evening. Statement from the legal team of Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle is not racist or white supremacist. He is brave, compassionate, law-abiding American who loves his country and his community. Rittenhouse is facing 6 charges from the shooting, including first-degree intentional homicide, which he will not, absolutely will not happen. I'm predicting it now. And attempted intentional homicide. There's way too much evidence that he did everything he could to retreat, and that he was doing this in self-defense. Anyway, Kyle Rittenhouse. God, everyone's check your logic. How many names are you going to throw out there? Video from the incident shows a group of people chasing after Rittenhouse, someone other than Rittenhouse firing a shot in the air, and then Rittenhouse turning around and shooting one of the men chasing him. As Rittenhouse fled for the scene of the first shooting, he tripped and was set upon by several other individuals who were chasing him. Video shows Rittenhouse shot 2 of the men as they lunged at him while he was on the ground. According to a video from the scene, all 3 of the shooting victims were convicted criminals with crimes ranging from sexual contact with a minor to felony strangulation. Court documents reviewed by the Daily Caller News Foundation showed. Now, I'm not going to show these, but it happened after he puts out so, as usual, a lot of these rioters love to set dumpsters on fire. And so all these people, someone tried to put it out and they shoot him away. And then Kyle came there with a fire extinguisher and put out the dumpster fire, literal dumpster fire. And then they started chasing after him. Multiple gunshots were fired after people chased a guy with a rifle. Rifle dude tripped and fell. He fired his gun at a guy who jumped on top of him. That was Kyle. Now, this thing, a 17-year-old child should not have to take up arms in America to protect life and property. That is the job of state and local governments, which they failed. John Pierce, the law firm's founder, said in a press release Friday. However, those governments have failed, and law-abiding citizens have no choice but to protect their own communities, as their forefathers did at Lexington and Cochran in 1775. Kyle is not a racist or a white supremacist, Pierce added. He's a brave, patriotic, compassionate, law-abiding American who loves his country and his community, he said. Now, so a lot of it's, as you know, and I'm watching people on Twitter argue about this for the last 3 days, and it's very interesting. There's a faction who said he went there to go kill people. He was just itching to kill people, right? And also there's a big deal about him. He went came all the way from Illinois to Kenosha, Wisconsin. He came from an out of state, and he brought a rifle across state lines. Well, no, none of the above are true. One. Oh, he did. Oh, it is true that he came from Illinois because Kenosha's on the border of Illinois. Antioch is he lives 12 miles from Kenosha, and he works in Kenosha during the summer as a lifeguard, which he did that day. Number 2, the gun. Well, it wasn't his. And someone else gave him the gun because he decided to stay around. And part of it is, since he has basic first aid training, being a lifeguard, there's videos of him talking about how, he's there. One, they're there to protect that business, and that he's also there to help people who get injured. He had his first aid kit with him, and that's why he was there. Third, it is not illegal for 16 and 17-year-olds to possess rifles in Wisconsin. So these charges that they put on him. Oh, and also in every case before someone was shot, he retreated and then shot when he was in danger. Oh, and the dude. Oh, I don't know if you remember this. We showed this video the other day, but the dude who got killed first. That's the same dude, the white guy, who was throwing out N-bombs at the guys with rifles protecting that business. Shoot me, nigga. Shoot me, nigga. Remember that? It was that guy. That's the guy who got killed. Oh, he was a sex offender. Oh, and also the guy who shot in the arm. The guy he shot in the arm, who first came up to him, and now I'm kind of amazed at the restraint this kid had, because if you go back and watch those videos, the guy he shot in the arm, came up to him, and he pointed the gun at him. The guy backs off for a second. Kyle doesn't shoot him then. As soon as he turned his pistol and actually pointed at Rittenhouse, that's when he shot. So clearly, on that one in particular, he's in imminent danger. Guy stops, he doesn't shoot, puts his hands up, and then points the gun at Kyle. Kyle shoots and takes out a big chunk of his arm. By the way, that guy with the handgun that pointed at Kyle Rittenhouse, convicted felon. He is not allowed to have firearms in the state of Wisconsin. And then the guy with the skateboard just starts beating him, and Kyle shot him too. So it's going to be hard. In Wisconsin, there is no, obviously Castle document doesn't work here. There's no responsibility to retreat. And yet this kid did. He retreated in both instances. And Wisconsin is basically a stand your ground state. You don't have to retreat, but he did anyway. So obviously the idea that this kid came to murder anybody, first degree murder they're charging him with, means intent, almost planned out, or in the act of a felony. Well, the weapons charge, even if the weapons charge were legit, which it's not, because the weapon belonged to somebody in Wisconsin. He only had possession of it. He did not bring it across state lines, and 16, 17-year-olds can possess or can have possession of a weapon, right? Even that charge, though, a minor in a possession of a weapon, if it were a weapons possession, that's only a misdemeanor in Wisconsin. So the self-defense part cannot be in the act of a felony because there's no underlying felony. And self-defense is pretty much going to do this. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for the first super chat of the day, and you are the superstar donor of the day, who says, I bet this guy is a candidate for Pence for F word for gay people. Faggots.
That's right.
With all the riots in Portland burning down homes and businesses, all you're left with is faggots that need removing.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Hebrews. I am not as I don't intend to neuter people's super chats that way. I'm not quite as free flowing as HB would be with that, but I give it said faggots, and okay. He spelled it with an A, so faggots. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Because it's just not my style. I laugh at when I watch some of the shit that they say on HB's channel. Some stuff that shit pissed me off, even though it doesn't. I don't care. I don't care what people say as long as the yes, the F word for a bundle of sticks. Yes, that's what he said there. And but I get a chuckle when it happens on HB. I mean, they throw out N-bombs, F-bombs. They throw out everything on the chat. I'm like, some of you people just, it's that unironic stuff going on. All right, let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to try to get one more article in here. Oh, there's also... Oh, here we go. Well, here's a little more legal aspect of that from American Thinker. Kyle Rittenhouse and the Law of the Pursuer. I might finish up with this one today. How much time do I have? I got time. All right. Wisconsin recently charged Kyle Rittenhouse with first-degree murder for killing two people who were, from what I can see in the videos, attacking him with weapons. Whether Rittenhouse should have been in Kenosha in the first place and with a weapon a 17-year-old cannot legally carry in public. Oh, gotta look at that again. I'm pretty sure 16, 17-year-olds in Wisconsin can carry a weapon. But we'll find out. Is a separate issue for the law to decide. The question at hand, however, is why he was charged with murder while his surviving alleged assailants were, as far as I know, not charged with anything. This leads to need to educate potential jurors, i.e. all citizens who are eligible to serve on juries, proactively about important self-defense principles. This must happen before they are called for jury duty because it is illegal to do so afterwards. Jurors need to understand the simple concept of din rodef, the law of the pursuer. This gives defense attorneys a single word, rodef, to explain the concept if jurors are not already familiar with it. A rodef, plural rodfim, is somebody who pursues somebody else with the objective of causing death or serious physical injury. Din rodef entitles the one pursued or a bystander to use reasonable force up to and including deadly force to stop the rodef from completing the intended violent crime. The principle is actually very similar to most modern laws. Deadly force cannot be used if a lesser force will suffice. If the rodef ceases to be a rodef, the instant he desists from his violent actions. Din rodef is also reflected by modern adages to, in the context of fight or argument, such as never follow anybody into the parking lot and never follow the other guy home because these are prima facie evidence of malicious and violent intent. It's hard for a rodef to claim innocence or self-defense when things go bad. The first Rittenhouse video shows clearly that he was running away from another man, presumably Joseph Rosenbaum, who apparently threw something at him. Rittenhouse was therefore trying to avoid a violent confrontation, while Rosenbaum, as best as I can tell from the video, was the rodef who insisted on having it. While he got what he wanted, as in stupid game, stupid prize, the following opinions are based solely on what can be seen from the videos. And there may well be additional evidence. If I were on the jury, I would, on the basis of just the video, toss the charges against Rittenhouse unless a prosecutor could show me very convincing evidence that the incident was not as it seemed. Now, there is video of that guy threatening all the guys protecting that building with guns. The same guy that got yeeted first, that's the same guy. This, what's his name? Joseph Rosenbaum. That's the dude. Shoot me, nigga. Shoot me. That guy. Anyway, the second Rittenhouse video shows clearly that Rittenhouse was running away from a mob of no fewer than 4 individuals whose numbers, even if unarmed, gave them disparity of force, which is the same as deadly force. The audio includes explicit violent threats such as get him and get his ass, to which CBS adds beat him up. While the individuals claim later that they were trying to take Rittenhouse into custody, which is bullshit. They made that shit up. Someone made that shit up on the internet. For shooting Rosenbaum, get his ass and beat him up sound a lot more like an intention to take the law into their own hands, even if they were in fact seeking to only apprehend Rittenhouse, which I doubt. Their mantle of innocence went out the window the instant they said beat him up. The individuals in question, having apparently not learning from seeing one person shot for chasing Rittenhouse, made themselves into a rodfim, and when Rittenhouse fell to the ground, went at him with a skateboard allegedly wielded by Anthony Huber and a pistol allegedly wielded by survivor Gage Grosskreutz. If this is the whole story, then my verdict as a juror would be another stupid game, 2 more stupid prizes. In addition, while Huber's past conduct does not entitle anybody to harm him except in self-defense, he was no angel if he was the same Anthony M. Huber cited in Kenosha County case number several numbers there. The deceased, Anthony M. Huber, age 26, is consistent with the felon's date of birth in August 1996, which suggests that they are the same. The former friends are welcome to correct me if they are not. Now, that's interesting. So, that was 26 back at the time. There's another video in which a swarm of anarchists laid hands on somebody's car, whereupon the driver accelerated, not very quickly. He was not trying to hurt anybody and hit several of the individuals in question. He then slowed down and attempted to drive away without causing further harm. The anarchists in question, who obviously learned nothing from the first time, made themselves into rod fim by running after the vehicle, with the result that the motorist had to again use his accelerator pedal with obvious consequences. There's yet another video in which literally dozens of rod fim ran after a man and his daughter because they were unhappy that the latter were wearing patriotic costumes. The rod fim made it verbal and or visible to violent threats, and they had the immediate means at hand, disparity of force, to put the threats into effect, which are the two prerequisites for a deadly force response. That is how I would decide this one as a jury, especially if those pursued were unable to run as fast as this father and daughter. It's kind of the backing someone into a corner thing. Let's see. Backing someone to a corner. That's the next sentence. Anyway, backing someone to a corner or not allowing them to leave is a variant of Den Rota. Here's another video. Okay, they just show another video about a black. They give several examples of this. And so that is why, again, I made this. I think I made the same argument that, clearly he was trying to remove himself from the scene, and they kept chasing him, pursuing him, and were threatening his life with what they were doing. So, all right, let's finish up with see if there's anything. I'm sure there's plenty of things happening in the world today. It's just getting crazier and crazier. Thank you, Chi-Town J, Tyler F, Renee Mayette, Necrosaw Collins, Scribe Light, for retweeting the show. Scribe, are you here? I don't see you. Did I see a goat thrapple anywhere? I didn't see you up here, but maybe you are here. Also, Becca Fairley and Cynical Lindsay, Cindy Rochelle, for also sharing the stream on your own social media feeds. I appreciate that greatly, as you know. Let's see what the breaking news of today is. On the Explore tab, Adele's Bantu knots highlight the fine line between cultural appropriation and appreciation. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. I think is Adele getting dragged for this? I bet she is. Oh, for shit's sake. A native Londoner shared a photo of herself with African-inspired hair wearing a Jamaican flag bikini to mark what would have been the Notting Hill Carnival, one of the world's largest celebration of Caribbean culture. The 2020 Carnival was canceled off due to COVID-19. Okay, so she did this. Did anyone bitch at her for it? Oh, of course, Jamel Hill. No one, absolutely not a fucking soul, nary a person, and Adele. Obviously sees. Oh God. 2020 couldn't get any more bizarre. Adele giving us Bantu knots and cultural appropriation that nobody asked for. This officially marks all of the top white women in pop as problematic. Hate to see it. Is it cultural appropriation or is it cultural appreciation? I don't know. What? Jesus Christ. Twice this weekend I've seen people doing black fibs to defend white women in Bantu knots. If you spend the whole summer posting Black Lives Matter and don't see a problem here, you were lying the whole time. I'll bet you if she was down in Jamaica, or if she was where did the Bantu knots come from? I can't remember. I bet you if she was over in somewhere where they wear their hair like this, I bet you they'd be just like, oh, that's cool. You did that. Hey, that's awesome. Only in America do people bitch about this. Well, America and London. Jesus Christ. On your way to Richfield, Minnesota. What the hell are you doing at Richfield, Ronan? All right. Another hairstyle still popular today with rich African roots are Bantu knots. Bantu universally translate to people among many African languages, which is used to categorize over 400 ethnic groups in Africa. These knots are also referred to as Zulu knots because the Zulu people of South Africa, a Bantu ethnic group, originated the hairstyle. The look also goes by the name of Nubian knots. I don't care. I don't fucking care. It is never okay for white girls to wear hairstyles like Bantu knots, cornrows, or braids. I don't care what anybody says. Why? And I'm sorry, the cornrow braiding in that, for suck's sake, cornrows. Black people are not the only people who braided hair. First of all, in fact, I'm gonna guess. Well, I don't know. I have no idea. Certain hairstyles are protected hairstyles, not a trend aesthetic to make you look more ethnic. What the hell are you trying to protect, Karen? Good Lord. Good Lord. Do people... boy, people are mad. Poppycock, this humbug totally missed the spirit of Notting Hill Carnival and the tradition of dress-up or masquerade. Adele was born and raised in Tottenham and gets it more than most. Thank you, Adele. Forgive the haters. And that's David Lammy. David Lammy is a PM... or MP, I mean, he's an MP in the British Parliament, and he's as left wing as it possibly can get, and he gets it. It's the spirit of the Notting Hill Carnival is dress up and masquerade. So people bitching are just like, holy shit. This one says, the thing you can tell, Adele actually grew up around black people and is respectful. That's why no one is too mad. Well, some people are. It's like your white friends you grew up with that you need to pattern once in a blue moon, not the same as Pandora from Hertfordshire, gentrifying Notting Hill. Oh, for fuck's sake. And she's from there. So, you know what? Some people are dragging her. Some people, oh my God. Yeah, people need to get a life. I spent too much time on that one already. I'm sorry that I did too. Good God. Let's find some news. That's something important. One shot and killed as Trump supporters and counter protesters clashed in Portland. Yes, we do know that. Portland police confirmed that a person was shot and killed near the protests in Portland, though it is unclear if the two events are related. Mayor Ted Wheeler denounced the fatal shooting, saying one death is one death too many. Demonstrations escalated on Saturday night after the Trump support rally made its way through the city. Trump supporters appeared to fire paintball pellets and pepper spray from their vehicles while counter-protesters threw objects back. It was the other way around. They didn't start doing that until the counter-protesters, the people who've been out there rioting for 90 days, were throwing shit at them, and they were prepared for it. Oh, my God. Portland police said there had been instances of violence and that officers have intervened and, in some cases, made arrests. Well, good. The person was killed after being shot near the protest. Mayor Ted Wheeler, blah, blah, blah. The tragedy of last night cannot be repeated. City Commissioner Joanne Hardesty issued a statement. I am saddened but not surprised. Yeah, the people in Portland were shooting people. Hello, sir. Shagga. That's kind of a great name to have right now when I'm speaking of Lammy. He's a dumb commie with enough of the lexicon memorized, but no comprehension of it. Dangerous. This one is strong with the dumb side he is. Speaking of David Lammy. Yeah, Lammy's a trip. I got to tell you. Anyway, he's one of the woke MPs. All right, moving on. Let's see other news. Most of it's from yesterday. 3 hours ago. Oh, John Thompson died. The coach, the former Georgetown coach. His son is the coach now. Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame coach has passed away. According to friends and family, John Thompson was the first black head coach to win an NCAA national championship when he led the Hoyas to the title in 1984 with obviously his star players Patrick Ewing. Yeah, that's sad. John Thompson was a good guy. I mean, he really, really tried to keep his players on the up and up. One of his most challenging ones was Allen Iverson. And you know, he got Allen Iverson at least to do well in school. I was there, and then I think he went into the NBA before he graduated. But John Thompson's a legend in college basketball. So rest in peace to John Thompson. Also, as we know, Chadwick Boseman died over the weekend, the man who played Black Panther. Here's something ironic. So, and Chadwick Boseman not only played Black Panther, he played Jackie Robinson, he played Thurgood Marshall, and he played James Brown in movies. Like all these iconic historical black people, and then Black Panther. He played all these people and did a really good job in all these roles. The super ironic thing, though, is he died at age 42, and he played the role of Jackie Robinson, number 42, and he died on Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. Just one of those, just you couldn't write it. Played number 42, died at age 42 on Jackie Robinson Day. Just wild. He'd been battling colon cancer for quite a while. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. He's very good. He's a fantastic actor too. He's fantastic. Infecting mosquitoes with different bacteria could eradicate dengue fever. Oh, that's interesting. Scientists at the World Mosquito Program are infecting mosquitoes with Wolbachia, a bacteria that prevents them from getting dengue. That means the insects can no longer spread it to humans, greatly helping eradicate dengue fever. That's huge. That's one of those things that has been just a very tough thing, mostly in West Africa. So that's amazing news if they can get that to stop spreading. That's a big, that and malaria are the two things that are. It's also in Australia, and I think Brazil too. I think you see dengue fever, but that's an amazing development if you're familiar with dengue fever. Let's see what else. Anything else new, Brianna? Let's see. Apparently, video of Eddie Barkins is manipulated to add words to Joe Biden's interview. Oh yeah, Steve Scalise had an ad come out yesterday, and one of the people in the ad was complaining that her words were manipulated. People talking about that. Let's see, anything else here? The first direct commercial flight from Israel to United Arab Emirates. The first commercial flight to travel directly between Israel and the UAE took off Tuesday morning from Tel Aviv and headed to Abu Dhabi, carrying U.S. and Israeli delegates on board. The plane flew through Saudi airspace, which normally blocked Israeli flights. That's interesting. That too is interesting. Now, people are saying that Democrats in the media saying that this peace process and agreement between Israel and UAE didn't mean anything. The Saudis just allowed an Israeli flight to fly through their airspace. I wonder if there's more to come. All right. Good deal. Man, that would be awesome. But it won't make Democrats happy. Let's see. Anything else? For God's sake. White doctors still treat black patients differently, according to Bloomberg opinion. I guess I don't see that. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, there's nothing else new here. So we're going to call it a day. Hey, people. I hope you had fun today. I didn't pay attention to the chat as much as I usually do. I apologize for that. But I do greatly appreciate all of you who were here today and we're chatting away. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for the Super Chat of the day. You are still the Super Chart donor of the day. Black Hebrew Israelite, thank you so much. And also thank you, everyone in the chat, for doing your thing. Some sources say 43, just because he was a few months shy of his 43rd birthday. Oh God, check your logic. Is that a 2 + 2 = 5 thing you just did? I heard talks between Oman and Bahrain. Oh, to follow suit, and the Saudis have acknowledged Israel's right to exist. That is true. That's true. Disney, you're here. Disney, I haven't quite figured you out yet. But anyway, again, thanks everybody. It's time for me to go. Have a great week. We'll be back tomorrow, just as we are Monday through Friday. Tomorrow we'll probably be here by 9 o'clock, though, because Mondays aren't always my favorite days. But please, if you haven't done so already, share the stream out. Use that share arrow, or you can follow me on Twitter. Mine's Gab or Parler. I am active on Twitter. The other three I use as notification places for people who can't use Twitter anymore. So if you have that problem. And then also, if you want to do donations or super chats, you can do that through the Streamlabs link down below, or you can do it through Venmo or Cash App, which are also in the description down below. By the way, I just remembered this. Apparently, Streamlabs has returned the credit card option to my super chat options. And so I may remove PayPal because PayPal takes too much money from your donations, and the credit card option takes less. So, well, I'll leave PayPal up. I know some of you like PayPal, but if you're doing super chats here and you are able to do the credit card option, then I actually get the money, and we're not just paying PayPal to be PayPal. Anyway, I gotta go. Oh, Cairo, how you doing? I spell problems with the story. He's an LAite with money. Should not be dying at age 43. Well, Cairo, he's been battling colon cancer for like 3 years now. I remember when they announced it. He shouldn't be, but somehow there are obviously some kind of complications. Anyway, I don't know the story. You might be right. It's worth looking into. But that's it today, people. I gotta go. Thank you, everybody. Again, my name is PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.